Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dragon Age Inquisition. We're headed into the Chantry here to see if there's anyone here to talk to, see if there's anything to explore, and then ultimately end up at the war table so we can continue with our quest. Let's go explore these areas. We haven't been down here yet. Okay, that's weird that it would like blink all the way back here, but sure. Oh, nice. Some good staves. Let's see if Solus needs one of those. These are actually both quite good, though. Wish I had found these sooner, but he no longer needs them, really. I don't want to just ditch them. Well, I do want to ditch this one. I don't want to ditch this one because I want that staff blade off of it before I get rid of it. Wait, what armor did I pick up? Oh yeah, the Free Marches helmet was going to be for Varric, I believe. Yep. And the Vitar is only for Kunari, so we'll wait till we have a Kunari to deal with those. Founding of the Chantry. Cordilis Draken, king of the city-state of Orlais, was a man of uncommon ambition. In the year 15 Ancient, negative 15 Ancient? I don't know how to interpret that. The young king began construction of a great temple dedicated to the Maker, and declared that by its completion he would not only have united the warring city-states of the south, he would have brought Andrastian belief to the world. In negative 3 Ancient, the temple was completed. There in its heart Draken knelt before the eternal flame of Andraste, and was crowned ruler of the Empire of Orlais. His first act as emperor, to declare the Chantry as the established Andrastian religion of the Empire. It took 3 years and several hundred votes before Orlessa of Montsemard was elected to lead the new Chantry. Upon her coronation as divine, she took the name Justinia, in honor of the disciple who recorded Andraste's songs. In that moment, the ancient era ended and the divine age began. From Ferelden Folklore and History by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar. Interesting, so maybe Divine Justinia is always what the leader is called? Okay. What was this over here? Something I could read? Yeah. Chantry Hierarchy. The Divine is the titular head of the Chantry, although since the schism split, the Imperial Chantry... Man, this is a hard sentence. The Divine is the titular head of the Chantry, although since the schism split the Imperial Chantry into its own faction, there are now in fact 2 Divines at any one time. One Divine, informally called the White Divine, is a woman housed in the Grand Cathedral in Val Royeaux. The other, known as the Black Divine, is a man housed in the Argent Spire in Menrothus. Neither divine recognizes the existence of the other, and the informal names are considered sacrilegious. No matter the gender, a divine is addressed as Most Holy, or Your Perfection. Beneath the rank of divine is the Grand Cleric. Each Grand Cleric presides over numerous chantries, and represents the highest religious authority for their region. They travel to Val Royeaux when the College of Clerics convenes, but otherwise remain where they are assigned. All Grand Clerics are addressed as Your Grace. Beneath the Grand Cleric is the Mother, or in the Imperial Chantry, the Father. If a mother is in charge of a particular chantry, Revered is appended to her title. These are the priests responsible for administering to the spiritual well-being of their flock. A mother or revered mother is addressed as Your Reverence. Brothers and sisters form the rank and file of the Chantry and consist of 3 main groups: Affirmed, Initiates, and Clerics. Affirmed are the lay brethren of the Chantry, those regular folk who have turned to the Chantry for succor. Often they are people who have led a difficult or irreligious life and have chosen to go into seclusion, or even orphans and similar unfortunates who were raised into Chantry life. The Affirmed take care of the Chantry and are in turn afforded a life of quiet contemplation, no questions asked. Only those folk who take vows become initiates. These are men and women in training, whether in academic knowledge or the martial skills of a warrior. All initiates receive an academic education, although only those who seek to become Templars learn how to fight in addition. Clerics are the true academics of the Chantry, those men and women who have dedicated themselves to the pursuit of knowledge. They are often found in Chantry archives, sages presiding over libraries of books and arcane knowledge. The most senior of these clerics, placed in charge of such archives, are given the title Elder, although such a rank is still beneath that of Mother. All other brothers and sisters are addressed simply by noting their title before their name, such as Brother Genitivi. From a guide for ambassadors from Ravane. It was actually very helpful to sort of know how everyone stacks up in the Chantry, because it's not really appropriate to ask that question, but I think it's important to know if I'm going to be involved in the Inquisition. I figure we're not really using these as like cells or offices, so we should see what's available down here. The Disciples of Andraste. The Disciples of Andraste are unique in all of history. The cult preceded the Chantry and kept itself so hidden and isolated that it actually survived to modern day. The Disciples made their home high in the Frostback Mountains, in a village called Haven, which is now a sanctuary for pilgrims of the Chantry. It is understood that the Disciples were descendants of the first followers of Andraste, who brought her ashes to Ferelden and built the temple to house it. Because they had pledged themselves to the keeping of the Temple of Sacred Ashes, the Disciples of Andraste never left the Frostbacks. For 900 years they kept strangers away, killing all who came close, and were completely oblivious to the world that advanced beyond the boundaries of their home. Having developed separately from the traditions of the Andrastian Chantry, the Disciples were led by revered fathers. However, little else is known about the original beliefs of the Disciples, for they had turned from their noble heritage by the time they were discovered. Almost all scholars believe that the centuries-long isolation imposed upon the village led to the necessity for inbreeding. This practice likely led to a greater incidence of madness, which may explain why the cult was, at the time of its discovering in 930, worshipping a high dragon. According to writings discovered in Haven, the Disciples of Andraste showed reverence to the dragon, believing it to be the prophet reborn. The egg clutches and dragonlings of the dragon were afforded great honor for being Andraste's offspring, and were cared for by the cult. The dragon never attacked the cult, being cunning enough to recognize how this arrangement benefited it. In 930 Dragon, the Disciples were wiped out by the hero of Ferelden, who was on a quest to retrieve the sacred ashes of Andraste. So I'm reading through this, and I'm remembering meeting this cult and the dragon that they were worshipping when I played the first Dragon Age Origins. So I'm wondering if this would be different if I chose different selections in the like Dragon Age Keep or whatever, which sets up kind of the backstory. That's kind of interesting to think about. That maybe that would have been seen as, the dragon would have been seen as actually part of Andraste's return. Let's read some more lore, though. The Black City. No traveler to the Fade can fail to spot the Black City. It is one of the few constants of that ever-changing place. No matter where one might be, the city is visible. Always far off, for it seems that the only rule of geography in the Fade is that all points are equidistant from the Black City. The chant teaches that the Black City was once the seat of the Maker, from whence he ruled the Fade, left empty when men turned away from him. Dreamers do not go there, nor do spirits. Even the most powerful demons seem to avoid the place. It was golden and beautiful once, so the story goes, until a group of powerful Magister lords from the Tevinter Imperium devised a means of breaking in. When they did so, their presence defiled the city, turning it black, which was, perhaps, the least of their worries. Yeah, because, as the story goes, those men who broke in to, like, the golden city of the Maker also created the Blight and created Darkspawn. Ooh, nice. Got some crafting herbs. Andraste, Bride of the Maker. There was once a tiny fishing village on the waking sea that was set upon by the Tevinter Imperium, which enslaved the villagers to be sold in the markets of Minrathous, leaving behind only the old and the infirm. One of the captives was the child Andraste. She was raised in slavery in a foreign land. She escaped, then made the long and treacherous journey back to her homeland alone. She rose from nothing to be the wife of an Alamari warlord. Each day she sang to the gods, asking them to help her people who remained slaves in Tevinter. The false gods of the mountains and the winds did not answer her, but the true God did. The Maker spoke. He showed her all the works of his hands, the Fade, the world, and all the creatures therein. He showed her how men had forgotten him, lavishing devotion upon mute idols and demons, and how he had left them to their fate. But her voice had reached him, and so captivated him that he offered her a place at his side, that she might rule all of creation. But Andraste would not forsake her people. She begged the Maker to return, to save his children from the cruelty of the Imperium. Reluctantly, the Maker agreed to give man another chance. Andraste went back to her husband, Mafaroth, and told him all that the Maker had revealed to her. Together they rallied the Alamari and marched forth against the mage lords of the Imperium, and the Maker was with them. The Maker's sword was creation itself, fire and flood, famine and earthquake. Everywhere they went, Andraste sang to the people of the Maker, and they heard her. The ranks of Andraste's followers grew until they were a vast tide washing over the Imperium. And when Mafaroth saw that the people loved Andraste and not him, a worm grew within his heart, gnawing upon it. At last the armies of Andraste and Mafaroth stood before the very gates of Minrathous, but Andraste was not with them, for Mafaroth had schemed in secret to hand Andraste over to the Tevinter. For this, the Archon would give Mafaroth all the lands to the south of the Waking Sea. And so, before all the armies of the Alamari and of Tevinter, Andraste was tied to a stake and burned, while her earthly husband turned his armies aside and did nothing, for his heart had been devoured. But as he watched the pyre, the Archon softened. He took pity on Andraste and drew his sword and granted her the mercy of a quick death. The Maker wept for his beloved, cursed Mafaroth, cursed mankind for their betrayal, and turned once again from creation, taking only Andraste with him. And Our Lady sits still at his side, where she still urges him to take pity on his children. From the Sermons of Justinia II. So, a lot of parallels with the Christian Christ story. That, that the Son of the Lord was responsible for the saving of the people that had sort of turned their back on the Lord. Yeah, sure, let's light up these torches so we have some visibility in here. Nice. Okay, more herbs. Got a chest over there. We'll go take a look at it in just a moment. A maul and some aquamarine. Let's see if this maul is any good for Cassandra. 8 strength. Let's see about that. Well, Cassandra, strength is quite high at the moment. Does it actually tell you how much damage? Main hand damage 115. But does that actually change? Whoops. Based on the additional... Whoops, no, Cassandra. Yeah, like I think this one's going to say 91 damage, but the DPS it calculates much higher. Because this one's a maul, it sounds like it's going to be probably pretty slow, even though it does a lot more damage. Oh, that 8 strength is really hard to pass up. Armor penetration, critical chance. We're going to try out the precise mace for a while. We might switch gears though. Just have her be slow but damaging. Misplaced notes. Notes written by one of the scholars responsible for restoring Haven. The notes have obviously come loose from a ledger of some sort. It took weeks scrubbing bloodstains from the stone. One of 2 things is true. Either stone is more porous than I thought, or Maker's beard there must have been a lot of blood. How many people died? I'm so relieved I didn't have to deal with the altars of sacrifice the first arrivals found. Those were tossed off a cliff, I think. So now we just have to deal with the stains on the walls and floors. If this doesn't clean up in a day or two, I'm asking for some fresh plaster. Maybe we can cover them up. Still, it's not all bad. Haven is a beautiful place, and while working in the dungeons, we found scraps of paper with writing that looks like Brother Ferdinand Genetives. He was held here for weeks before the hero of Ferelden found him. I don't remember finding Genetivi here. Again, the hero of Ferelden is the character you play in the first Dragon Age. Okay, nothing else here it looks like. Well, perhaps we'll end up with some prisoners here at some point. Need a place to keep them. Hopefully not, but it seems like something that could happen.
Apothecary Adon will have more poultices for the injured as soon as possible, revered mother.
Thank you, child. You are doing the Maker's work.
Have you been able to save many people?
More than if we
There
had
was
not
no
tried.
word for heaven or for earth, for
Okay,
sea
so
or
that's, I
sky.
think, pointing to Cullen.
All that
Let's talk to
existed
Mother
was
Giselle, though.
Then the voice
Greetings,
of the Maker
Herald of
rang out,
Andraste. How fares your quest to seal the breach?
and his word
Ugh,
all that might be.
I'm trying my best.
I'm doing everything within my power.
A task, such as closing the breach, is a heavy burden. I hope you do not carry it alone. We remember Andraste, but Andraste did not carry the Chant of Light alone. She had generals, advisors, even her husband for a time. Do everything within your power, but remember those who would help you.
Thank you.
I
It's helpful
appreciate your
advice.
insight, Mother Giselle.
Take it for whatever it is worth. You walk a difficult path, and there is little enough I can do to aid you. In any case, I pray this Inquisition proves less brutal than its predecessor.
Can you tell me about the original Inquisition?
The original Inquisition was formed after the First Blight, well before the Chantry as we know it. The Inquisitors were hunters, zealots, who tracked and killed cultists and dangerous mages. As Andraste rose to power, the Inquisition came into her service. Instead of hunting those who would do harm, the Inquisitors spread the Chant of Light by force.
No wonder everyone is so nervous around us. Who chose that name?
Divine Justinia herself. I understand that this was not a popular decision. In any case, once the Chant of Light had spread far and wide, there was less need for zealots. The Inquisitors became the Seekers of Truth, and eventually the Templars.
I don't want to say now we're back. I don't really want to stand with the Templars.
This is a dark chapter of history for the Divine to revisit.
Good.
Do you know
Good.
what impresses me most about the original Inquisition? They fought horrific battles, killed and died for their cause, and when it was time, they put their swords away. Perhaps the name was Divine Justinia's message, that when the Inquisition is needed, it will strike without mercy. But when its work is done, it will put its sword away.
I like that perspective.
How are the people doing after what happened at the Conclave?
They are scared, of course. Many have lost homes or loved ones. I doubt many will sleep well until you have sealed the breach. I have offered what help I can. The rest is for the Inquisition. What more do you wish to know?
How are the villagers in Haven doing?
They are terrified. Many of them came here because the war between the Mages and the Templars destroyed their homes. In their minds, the death of a Divine has destroyed any chance of peace. To that, add the breach. Farmers have fled their fields. If we do not restore order, half of Thedas may starve.
What are you doing to help these people?
My sisters and I have been tending to the injured as best we are able. Some refugees come with food, while others arrive empty-handed. I have helped ensure that all have enough to eat. Beyond that, Many simply wish the familiar comfort of the chant of light. It is little enough work to offer some comfort to those in pain.
Do you have information on people elsewhere?
The refugees in the hinterlands are desperate. Without help, starvation or war will claim many lives. Villagers in Crestwood are besieged by their own dead. They have sent word begging for assistance. People are vanishing in the hills of Emprise de Lyon. It may be demons or something worse, but they are terrified. More than that I cannot say. It is a chaotic time for all in Olay and Ferelden.
Farewell.
Until next time.
I love all the conversations you can have with people. I think they really flesh out, like, what's going on in the world, and you really get to participate in this story like that.
The Inquisition cannot remain, Ambassador, if you can't prove it was founded on Justinia's orders.
This is an inopportune time, Marquis. More of the faithful flock here each day. But allow me to introduce you to the brave soul who risked her life to slow the magic of the breach. Mistress Kadash, this is the Marquis d'Aurelion, one of Divine Justinia's greatest supporters.
And the rightful owner of Haven. House d'Aurelion lent Justinia these lands for pilgrimage. This Inquisition is not a beneficiary of this arrangement.
This is the first I've heard of Haven having an owner outside the Chantry.
My wife, Lady Machin of Denerim, has claim to Haven by ancient treaty with the monarchs of Ferelden. We were honored to lend its use to Divine Justinia. She was a woman of supreme merit. I will not let an upstart order remain on her holy grounds.
Interesting, considering the Inquisition was begun by the left and right hands of the Divine.
I've seen no written records from Sister Liliana or Seeker Pentagus that Justinia approved the Inquisition.
If you won't take her at her word, I'm afraid Seeker Pentagast must challenge him to a duel.
What?
It is a matter of honor among the Navarrans. Shall I arrange the bout for tonight?
No. No. Perhaps my reaction to the Inquisition's presence was somewhat hasty.
We face a dark time, Your Grace. Divine Justinia would not want her passing to divide us. She would, in fact, trust us to forge new alliances to the benefit of all, no matter how strange they might seem.
I'll think on it, Lady Montillier. The Inquisition might stay in the meanwhile.
Do the Durelians actually have a claim on this place?
His Grace's position is not so strong as he presents it. Despite our Ferelden relations, the Durelions are our legion. If the Marquis wishes to claim Haven, Empress Selene must negotiate with the Ferelden on his behalf. Her current concerns are a bit larger than minor property disputes.
His Grace was all bluster then.
Even should he leave, the Marquis will share his thoughts on us upon his return to Val Royeaux. Every guest we receive, and we will receive them, will spread the Inquisition's story. An ambassador should ensure the tale is as complimentary as possible.
So I think she could have proven that Justinia, like, founded this place with the documents that like book of a document that Leliana and Cassandra had. But I like that she threatened him with implying that it was like tradition for Cassandra to go duel him instead of actually like working it out, because he knows he would not win against Cassandra.
May I ask what brought you to work for the Inquisition?
Sister Leliana approached me. We've been acquainted for quite some time. For better or worse, being the Inquisition's diplomat has become as interesting as she promised.
What sort of dealings have you had with nobility?
For some years, I was the royally appointed court ambassador from Antiva to Orlais. The nobility of Thedas is a rather singular sphere. Those I'm not acquainted with, I know through reputation.
The Inquisition is lucky to have you as an advocate, Lady Montchilier.
Thank you. Let us hope so. Thedas's politics have become agitated as of late. I hope to guide us down smoother paths. But please excuse me. I've much work to do before the day is done.
Of course. Thanks for taking some time to chat. The children of Andraste. There are many misconceptions regarding Andraste's bloodline, monsieur. This is due, I should think, to a general lack of knowledge regarding Andraste's mortal life. Understandable, considering the many cults that arose following her death. Everyone sought to claim Our Lady for their own culture, or claimed some aspect of her existence was a lie. All of them complete fabrications. My order has done some considerable research to ascertain the truth. We all know Andraste and the betrayer raised 5 children. The eldest 3 were sons, Isaroth, Evrion, and Verald. The rule of what was once southern Tevinter was split among them. Isaroth was given the west, what is today Orlais. Evrion was given the east, what is today the Free Marches. Verald was given the central Planocene, what is today Navarra. What became of these men and their legacies is the stuff of legend, and the majority of claimants to Andraste's bloodline link back to one of them. None of the 3 sons, however, were born of Andraste. They were born of the betrayer's concubine, Gillivan. People choose to overlook the fact that Andraste came from the Alamari tribesmen and that they were barbarians, not the Ferelden's we know today. They were savage warriors who took concubines in addition to their wives, and because Andraste was thought to be too weak to bear children, the betrayer took Gillivan to provide him heirs, which she did. After her death, the sons were raised as Andraste's own. Later in life, Andraste proved predictions wrong and had 2 daughters by the betrayer, Ebris and Vivial. They were kept out of the public eye and not permitted to marry, though both had consorts. Ebris had but 1 child, Ali Vamar, who perished on a voyage to Denerim, less than a month after her mother fell to plague, and without children of her own. The younger daughter, Vivial, was more controversial, a strong-headed woman who defied her family by falling in love with the mage of Tevinter, Regulon. Vivial and Regulon went into self-imposed exile as the Exalted March began, and into hiding following Andraste's betrayal and murder. What became of Vivial and her descendants is largely unknown for one primary reason. She had only daughters. Each of those daughters only had daughters. They married into other families and took other names, and in the chaos of the Second Blight all traces of survivors were lost. Andraste's true bloodline, if it exists, lies solely in the descendants of Vivial, and the suspicion of my order is that it produces only daughters. Thus the claims of your young man, monsieur, are highly suspect. From a letter by Sister Galena of the Augustan Order, Dragon 912. Interesting. Let's talk to Maeve here.
You're the Herald. Or, well, the one they're calling the Herald, anyway.
True.
I hope the Inquisition can restore order soon. I never really wanted to leave the Circle.
Oh, really?
My name is Maeve. I research demons and other creatures. Seeker Pentagast and I use what I find to help the soldiers fight them.
So you were in a mage circle?
You said you were a mage.
No, just an apprentice. I was never very good at magic. I've got just enough talent to be a danger to other people. But when the mages rebelled, people like me had nowhere to go. The Templars would have killed us. Luckily, Seeker Pentagast took me in, along with the Tranquil I was protecting.
You said Cassandra has you researching creatures.
Yes. If you find anything interesting in your travels, I'd appreciate you bringing it to me. I may be able to find some weakness our soldiers can exploit when fighting various creatures. At the least, some materials are useful for making potions or gear for the Inquisition.
Okay, I found some stuff.
I found something the demons left behind. Can you use it?
Yes, that's very helpful. Just leave it there and the Tranquil and I will examine it. Yes. Good.
Okay, I guess I have to turn
Please
them
tell
all
me if you find something.
in individually. Okay, no, those all got turned in at once. Interesting. More?
If you find anything, please bring it in.
Okay.
You've
Anything
brought back
else?
some fascinating things. We're putting them to good use.
Good.
Why did you decide to research dangerous creatures?
I like the outdoors. The idea of the outdoors, anyway. When some monster is coming at you, glowing eyes and burning claws. It's terrifying. But once you know how it works, you can deal with it. It's just another part of the world. So much of this world is only frightening because we don't understand it.
That's true.
You said that you were keeping some of the Tranquils safe?
Yes. The mages took some of them when my circle rebelled. The rest were forgotten. Most circle mages look down on the Tranquil, or try to pretend they don't exist. They don't have any emotions. They can barely take care of themselves. Can't defend themselves at all. It's a shame. I like them better than most people.
Why would you want to spend time with the Tranquil?
They're polite. They don't bother you if they don't need something. When they study, they have a focus no normal person could ever match. But the Templars, even some of the mages, mistreated them just because they could. The Tranquil never fought back. If not for that, I don't know. Doesn't really matter now.
I'm surprised that even an apprentice mage wouldn't join the rebellion.
I don't like using magic to fight. I'm not good at it either. I liked studying. I liked performing rituals that helped us unlock the secrets of the Veil. I liked having the Templars around to keep us safe.
Most circle mages I've met have a different opinion of the Templars.
They have not lived my life. I was born into a Dalish clan. I lived there until my magic manifested. The Dalish cannot risk having too many mages in one clan. And I was one more than they could bear. They gave me a pack and sent me into the woods to find my own life. I was 7 years old.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
I stumbled into a village, starving and cold a few weeks later. I started using magic to scare predators away. The villagers saw me make fire in my fist. They were terrified and wanted to kill me. Templars saved me from them. They gave me food and clothes and took me to the Circle. I've seen what life is like without the Templars, and I want no part of it. I just want to study.
Okay.
I'll speak with you later.
Well,
Thank
we're happy to
again
have you.
for what you've brought back.
I'll continue bringing more, as long as you keep me up to date with what you've discovered.
A learned child is a blessing
All
upon
right.
his parents and on
Let's save quickly, and then we will head in to the War Council room and see what's next. Operations. You now have access to missions. Mission operations take time and bring the Inquisition resources and rewards. Only one mission per advisor can be active at a time. Some missions have a preferred type, which results in less time required when undertaken by the associated advisor. Missions may also provide different rewards depending on which advisor completes them. Alrighty. First of all, we have a perk. This is a big decision, it feels like. Let's see. 50% XP for each codex. Opens up new dialogue options related to criminal activities. Kind of like that. It seems fitting. More XP from killing. I don't know if I care about like the horse perks. Increase focus. I don't actually know what focus is yet. I mean, I know it's related to like a skill I'll get later, but I don't think I get it for a while. Increase defenses. That's really good. Capture any keep. Okay, great. So I don't have to necessarily spend points in this tree for that. More healing potions. That's nice. Spend 3 points here. More schematics. Okay, so healing potions, schematics, focus, criminal knowledge. I like this tree. Let's see what else. Secrets. Dialogue related to the Fate or Arcane Studies. I don't think I would know that much about it. 50% XP for each codex entry. Extra herbs. Discovery range of the search action. Better points for studying. This one I like. Being able to get into higher level locks. Forward scouts. Reveals additional landmarks and points of interest on the maps of every area. I think I'd rather, if I capture a keep, I think I'd rather put it towards forces. And then some herbalist bonuses. Okay, connections. New dialogue options related to nobles and politics. Again, don't think I would know that much about it. Make more money. Spend less money. Buy and sell better. Rare stocks. Materials. Rare inventory. Messengers when there are sales at their stores. Okay, but I still want to, if I capture a keep, I want to give it towards forces. And then Inquisition. History in the Chantry. I'm learning a lot about that. Inventory capacity. I like that. Inventory capacity. One more potion slot for everyone. We don't even have enough potions for this to matter. Combat ability points. Okay, I like this, but yeah, I think I'm going to go forces for now and go underworld knowledge. A, it gets us cool dialogue options. B, we're going to gain more XP. And that's good. Okay, so eventually we're going to need to go to Orlais to visit the clerics. For now, let's check out Ferelden. We have a lot to explore around here. Now, build watchtowers. That's what I'm looking for. The refugees in the hinterlands face threats from bandits, demons, apostate mages, and Templar deserters. Building watchtowers in the area will help Inquisition forces ensure the safety of refugees and farmers. The appropriate building sites have already been marked. Okay, Leliana's not interested. Josephine can do that by getting nobles near Redcliffe to help. Take her an hour. Colin can do it in 48 minutes by getting the soldiers to do it. Yeah, I'd like them to actually see our soldiers helping out.
All right.
So send Colin. Gather coin. I think this is to like unlock a new area. The Carta gets its cut. Unlock a new area. Cairn of Highever. Address a nobleman's concerns. Harden Hightown 3. Varric's Revenge. Okay, let's, this costs 8. This costs 4. Okay. Ferelden has not seen significant Grey Warden activity since Darkspawn attacked the city of Amaranthine 10 years ago. It's not unusual for their order to fade from public notice when there's no blight. However, recent reports claim that a group was traveling along the northern coastline. Wardens tend to follow their own agenda, but the breach has no doubt caught their attention. If they know something, then the Inquisition should find out. Secrets. The Wardens are reclusive but not untraceable. If there are signs of their passage on the Storm Coast, my agents will find them. Yeah, send some of our spy agents out there. See what's going on. Inquisition Scouting Report. Sister Leliana, Lieutenant Harding led a small complement of soldiers to the Storm Coast region to investigate reports of Grey Warden activity. She sent word that her party had established a camp near the shore, but we have received nothing further. At this time, the status of Harding and her mission remains unknown. Rector. New area unlocked. Yikes, I would like to go there and make sure she's alright. I don't want to travel there just yet, though. A couple more things to take care of. Let's see what's going on in Highever, since we're headed over there. To whom it concerns, the Tyranneer of Highever wishes to convey our deepest sympathies on the death of Divine Justinia V. The Most Holy was incomparable in her wisdom and dedication to peace, and we had high hopes that her conclave would succeed. We will hold a vigil in Highever in remembrance of Justinia, and cordially invite the Inquisition to attend. Sincerely, Terran Fergus Cousland. Leliana suggests writing. I think we should let the ambassador take care of it. We should send a diplomatic attaché and some of the Templars who knew the Divine. Please do so.
Let us begin.
And then we could still send Leliana to do something. So let's see what the Carta has to say. Kadash, sorry about that lyrium deal at the Conclave going sideways. When I said I expected the talks to blow up, that wasn't what I meant. At least you made it out of there in one piece. You always did have strange luck. I'm not saying where I am now. Let's call it somewhere safe enough and leave the prying eyes guessing. The Dasher's looking for you. Well, for both of us, but mostly you. Angry as a drunk Bronto. He thinks you ran off with his lyrium, Solroka, and now you're hiding from the Carta behind a wall of Inquisition muscle. I'd be careful if I were you. Lantos. This Carta clan could be useful to us. We should arrange a payoff. Yes, I think Leliana is the right person to handle this, and I think she'll be able to negotiate with them enough to get them as a, sort of an under-the-table ally for the Inquisition. So let's send her.
Let's see what we have.
Alright, and then let's back out of here. I think in the next mission, we're going to address the Chantry in Valrayo as Mother Giselle suggested. So tune in to the next episode to see how that goes. Thanks for watching, guys.